Let's head to the UK now, where it's emerged the man police are hunting in connection with a corrosive liquid attack in London is a convicted sex offender who was granted asylum to stay in the country, having twice been refused. Abdul Ezedi, who is 35, remains at large after the attack in Clapham in South London on Wednesday. 12 people were injured, including 2 young children. He also suffered a serious facial burn during the incident. Well, Regini Vaidyanathan has the latest.
The last known sighting of Abdul Ezedi at a Tesco shop in North London. His right eye scarred by what could be the same chemical he's accused of using in an horrific attack. The street in Clapham in South London, where a corrosive substance was thrown at a woman and her 2 young children on Wednesday evening. This CCTV footage appears to show the distressing sequence of events. A man is seen taking a child from the back of the car before fleeing the scene as he's chased. Police believe the victim was known to the attacker.
We take violence against women and girls very seriously, and this was someone who, it's a vulnerable position she was in, and it would have been horrific and frightening. So we will do our utmost, and we will, I'm totally confident, capture the male.
As the hunt for him continues, questions over Abdul Ezedi's past. Convicted of a sex offence in 2018, he was later granted asylum here in the UK after 2 failed attempts. What happened here hasn't just shocked this corner of South London, but an entire nation. Police say the victim's injuries weren't life-threatening, but that they could be life-changing.
Well, Regini is outside the Metropolitan Police headquarters in London. Good to see you this morning. Now, this manhunt continuing today. This suspect now been at large for 36 hours and multiple police forces now involved in the search. What is the latest?
Exactly that, as you say, Frankie. It's not just London's Metropolitan Police who are involved in that extensive manhunt, but this is now a national search for Abdul Ezedi. British Transport Police are also involved. They had last night beefed up their presence around London's King's Cross station, King's Cross and Pancras, which goes to Newcastle, and Newcastle Police in the northeast of England are also involved in this manhunt, and that is because Abdul Ezedi lives in Newcastle, but at the moment he has not been found. Now, police say they are wholeheartedly confident that they will find him, but as you say, this has been going on for many hours now. Now, as we saw in that report there last night, on Thursday night, police did release what they said was the latest known picture, latest known sighting of Abdul Ezedi at a supermarket in North London. And as we saw in those pictures, very distinctive scarring by his right eye. Now, they hope that by releasing that photograph, people who may see him may notice that distinctive mark, but they were keen to stress that if anyone did see him, not to approach him, but just to call the authorities, because they say he's incredibly dangerous.
And Regini, this again in the UK has raised the discussion about violence against women and girls. You just heard in your report there the police officer saying that we take violence against women and girls very seriously. But this, of course, happening just streets away from, many will remember, Sarah Everard being taken by a serving Metropolitan Police officer. How are people feeling after hearing yet another attack on a woman and her 2 daughters?
Well, I mean, I think anyone who's heard some of the details, and of course this is still an active investigation, cannot help but be devastated, disgusted and shocked by the nature of this alleged attack. And police said yesterday that some alkali substance they believe was used in that attack, a chemical attack which has left a mother and her 2 children in hospital. And police here at Scotland Yard were saying just yesterday that the mother has sustained substantial burns, although, as I said in the report just then, they're not life-threatening injuries, thankfully, but they could be life altering. And I think that is one of the most devastating aspects of this type of attack. And in the last year here in London, these kinds of attacks, acid attacks or chemical attacks, have actually gone up. They've increased. I think the other thing that it's important to talk about is another conversation that people are having, and that is around the information that has come out this morning and yesterday around Abdul Ezedi, the fact that he was convicted in 2018 of a sex offence in Newcastle, and that a couple of years after he'd done his community sentence and served his sentence there, he was then granted asylum here in the United Kingdom. It was his third application. He'd been refused 2 prior applications, but on the third application we're hearing that he told the authorities that he converted to Christianity and he'd used a priest as a character witness, and then he was successful in his asylum attempt. Now, this has caused a debate with some members of the British Parliament saying that the laws need to be changed. Others, asylum groups, saying, well, even if you are convicted of a crime, that doesn't take away from the fact that you may have a legitimate reason to seek asylum from the country that you're fleeing. And it's understood that Abdul Ezedi came here in 2016 on a lorry from Afghanistan.